Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Bet It Right show in conjunction with betitright.com. Bet It Right is a brand new website that brings the football data to your door, and it will allow you to show off in front of your mates and hopefully allow you to bet better. Now, as always, I'm joined by football expert Dean Selvey, who's been on flying form on the Bet It Right show since we started. And Dean, you had another good week with your Champions League predictions from last week's show. Well done, mate. You must have been happy with how it all unfolded.
Yeah, we had a good week in the Prem. We had a good week in Europe. Some really good bets out there, and followed it in the Champions League. Obviously, we talked last week about Benfica, Liverpool, with the market overreacting, and the overs came in. We talked about City, Atletico, Madrid being a really tight game, and Simeone went there, parked 5 buses, obviously lost 1-0. Villareal, Bayern, we talked about the volatility, and we see that with Villareal coming out with a 1-0 win that not many people expected. And then obviously last night, Karim Benzema, 13 minutes after coming off of his fast for Ramadan, banging in a hat-trick at Stamford Bridge to give Real Madrid a 3-1 lead away at Chelsea. So, an amazing night.
That header was one of the best things I've ever seen. It was phenomenal from Benzema.
Well, the first 2 goals, he's played a 50-yard 1-2, and he's just ran onto that first header. And then as they played the ball back to Modric, clearly something they do in training, he's just peeled off. And how he's managed to get his head round and get enough power to get it to get it past Mendy, it's unreal. But 34 years old and just rocking it. Love it.
Yeah, well, the Champions League, we'll I'm sure discuss more of the Champions League we definitely will discuss more of the Champions League as the season goes on. But well done with your shouts there. We're going to have Premier League preview, European preview. We'll take you into the tactics room as we always do here on the Bet It Right show. But the first pit stop for us is going to be in the kit room. So, Dean, what have you got for us?
Well, as always, I love getting my kit off and getting a new kit on. So let's see what's behind the magic today. And there we go. A little bit more kind of, a basic shirt this week. It's been a few weeks of like these crazy shirts, but this one is plain, classic, very tight. So I'm going to have to, breathe in for the rest of the show. And I haven't had my dinner yet, which is a good thing because I think I'd be popping out of this one. What do we reckon, Ollie?
I like it. I actually like the simple shirts, to be honest.
Yeah, very basic, classic. And let me give you a little bit of information about this club. As always, supplied to us by our friends at Surprise Shirts. It's a city in northern Germany. Their nickname is the River Islanders. This was a terrible shirt for them because they actually got relegated in this shirt for the first time in 40 years. They're in Bundesliga 2 right now, making a climb back to get into the Bundesliga, one of the biggest teams in Germany. So all the Bet It Right users out there, give it a guess and see if you can guess the team and the shirt that I'm wearing this week. Another cracker. This week, though, we're going to do something a little bit different, Ollie.
What are we going to do?
To chance to win this shirt, what we're going to say is follow Bet It Right, insights and prompts. Follow Surprise Shirts on Twitter at Surprise Shirts. Like and retweet our video where we clip and we show this shirt to be in with a chance of winning the shirt if we pick your name.
So we need you to follow BIR Insights, BIR Prompts, and then like and retweet this video that essentially people will be seeing. We will put your name in a hat and the lucky winner will win the shirt after Dean has put it in the wash, given it is currently on his back. Okay, good stuff. Thanks for that. That's the latest edition of the kit room, but time now, Dean, to head to the tactics room. And again, what have you got for us in the tactics room this week?
Well, there's only one game, right, that anyone's interested in this weekend. First versus second, the 1 point difference, the shootout, essentially the shootout, I think, for the Premier League title. So Manchester City versus Liverpool from the Etihad. Both teams coming off massive wins in the Champions League. Trent Alexander-Arnold injured, which when you look at it, makes Liverpool slightly less potent going forward, but actually makes them a little bit more secure defensively with Joe Gomez coming in at right back. So looking at this from a tactical angle, I'll deal with City first. We know that they like to have players on the inside of the pitch. We know that they like to pin with their wingers to try and keep the pitch big with length and with width. And I think we'll see that again here. They'll try and play those wide players to pin Liverpool. They'll play that false 9 because they don't want Van Dijk to have to do anything. They want to remove him from the game. So what do? You take a centre forward away from him and give him nothing to do. They want to play in front. They want to play around the three central midfielders in those pockets on the outside, get those little slide balls for the wingers to run onto, and for those inside midfielders, whoever it is, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, just to run beyond. And I do think that they will get joy there if they can do that in transition and quick. If not, I think Liverpool are going to set up in their regular 4-3-3. Really important their three midfielders stay together and the two wingers drop into that 4-5-1, into a kind of a mid-block. And they will be looking to do what Spurs did to City in their 3-2 win, to win the ball, to break with pace. And as we've seen this season, Diaz being out, the good thing for City is that Walker comes in at right back, so Cancelo will move to left back. Nathan Ake struggles with pace. So I do think that this is a game where Liverpool will set up to spring out. Manchester City will control the ball, trying to find little pockets. And it'll be an amazing game to watch from a tactical angle.
Good stuff. Would you have a strong fancy in this game, or is it more not watching brief and stuff, but is it, would you be cagey in your approach from a betting point of view, or would you have a strong view?
I would be cagey, but I do think the market is, maybe giving Liverpool a little bit too much here. +0.5, looking to pull a draw out of this game. You can get them at 1.87. I would definitely fall that side when I look at the matchups. Both teams are on incredible runs. Liverpool have dropped far less points than City in the league over the last 2.5 months. Both coming in off big Champions League games. Confidence is high. It's going to be a cagey affair, but I think Liverpool on +0.5 is just a bit too big. So yeah, I'd be that side for sure.
Okay, what about the Premier League preview this week? What game are you focusing on?
Well, this week I thought I'd go for 2 games, but a little short kind of intro into both of them, because I think the price is wrong in these 2 games. And I think the market's kind of overreacted to recent results. First game is Arsenal-Brighton. Arsenal in 5th, Brighton in 13th. Very similar styles, progressive, possession, like to play through the pitch. Arsenal tend to do very well when they play against teams with similar styles, okay, but are better than them individually. And I think this matchup really suits Arsenal. Now, they lost to Palace, terrible performance. It was their first loss in 8 since they lost to Liverpool. And Brighton are coming to this game 7 games without a win. They've only scored 26 goals all season, 1 goal in the last 7. When you look at their metrics, they don't concede many, but they don't score many, which we've talked about many times before with Neil Maupay, and kind of just the fact they can't score. And Arsenal's XG and outputs is much, much, much better. 1.5 goals from 1.9 XG there or thereabouts. And again, they don't concede. So less than 3/4 of a goal, 0.73 from 0.81 XG. So I do think the market's overreacted slightly to the Arsenal result against Palace and performance. Brighton on the downturn, no win in 7. The potential bet here for me would be Arsenal -3/4. Now, the second game in the Prem that I'd like to look at is Leicester City in 10th against Crystal Palace in 9th. Again, Palace coming off a good result. Leicester coming off a 1-1 with Man United, which was great, but they do play PSV tonight. So I would say to the Bet It Right users, check the teams, look for any injuries or fatigue. Their 8 p.m. game will obviously take a little bit of a toll on them. But the reason I like this game is because Leicester have got some defensive players back. They're now starting to get that defensive unit that got them to 5th in the Premier League last year, especially with Wesley Fofana back. Now, there'll be a little bit of exposure for Palace in behind Anderson, maybe in between Gay and Mitchell, but it's not really about the 2 teams' tactics here. I just think that the market has got the price wrong. We've talked about it in-house, and we do think that actually Leicester on a draw no bet at home, you can get around 1.8 is too good. So I would definitely be Leicester side, market overreacting, back to not their best, but moving in the right direction. Very good value for me in the Premier League there.
And what about Europe this week, mate?
Well, I'm going to torment myself again by going straight to the Eredivisie. We do this every week, right? I'll probably just be doing this for the rest of my life. And I prep myself before the show, and it doesn't get any better. But here we're going, the Derby of the North, which is Heerenveen versus Groningen. Now, these teams, 4 out of the last 6 meetings have finished 1-1. 7 out of the last 10 have been a draw. And the game flow typically in these derbies between these 2 teams is when one team goes ahead, the game shuts down. They don't go for a second. It's going to be a tight game. Now, Heerenveen are coming in unbeaten in 4 league games, but that's all against teams that are below them. And when you look at the metrics of the two teams, they're very, very similar. Heerenveen 1.17 XG against 1.5, so net of 0.33. Groningen 1.15 against 1.57, net of 0.42. So when you look at that, Groningen unbeaten in 5 games before losing to Ajax, which most teams do. So I was looking at this and I was thinking, well, you could go 3 ways. You could go Groningen plus a quarter, which is 1.8. You could go for the draw at 3.05, or given recent history, you could go 1-1 at 6.2. So some great odds there and some great options for Bet It Right users in the Netherlands this weekend. Now we're going across to France. Now I've had to learn this. If I was just an English person reading this, I'd probably say it's Reims versus Rennes, right? If I was that guy. But it's actually pronounced Reims with no M. And see, I'm a man of many talents, Ollie. What can I say? It's Reims versus Rennes as opposed to Reims versus Rennes. So Reims. So yeah, Ligue 1, Reims versus Rennes, 13th versus 3rd. Reims very defensive, 4-4-2, solid at home, give up only 0.87 goals from 1.06 XG. But Rennes have been on a great run of form, 6 wins and 1 draw in the last 7 games. Martin Terrier, 17 goals from left wing, and then the number 1 attacking team away from home in Ligue 1 with 1.57 goals from 1.34 XG. So this is just a straight shootout, 1-2x, and I'm going for a Rennes win.
Top man. Are we done and dusted this week?
No, I've got 2 more gems for you. 2 more gems. Very quickly. Serie A, Napoli in 2nd versus Fiorentina in 8th. Napoli, 3 wins in a row. Osman back in the team. Conceded 0.69 goals at home. Fio, terrible away from home. Really struggled on their travels. Lost 7 out of 15. And their last 4 games have been under 2.5 goals. I do think here that this is just a straight up Napoli win. So we have a Rennes win, we have a Napoli win, and now we go to the Bundesliga. And because of our good record recently with Dortmund, I'm throwing them in the bucket again. Away at Stuttgart, goals, goals, goals. This is my one game where it's goals, goals, goals. Now, Stuttgart, number 1 for home games, over 3.5 on the betting market, 9 out of 14. Number 1 worst defensive record at home, 1.87 goals. And they also score almost 1.7. And then we've got Dortmund, the Buccaneering, Haaland, just going goals, 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 1.8. So we go, there's a few ways to look at this. Both teams have scored in 11 out of 14 of their home versus away games. So the potential bets, similar to last week's chat, both teams to score, but that's only 1.57. And over 3 goals at 1.92. So very similar to the chat we had last week regarding Leipzig and Dortmund. And I do see this game going very similar. And it's a Friday night game, Stuttgart-Dortmund.
Top stuff. Well, mate, I love the kit this week in the kit room. I loved your angle with the tactics room.
Yeah, I don't know whether green's my colour though, Ollie. What do you think?
I think it suits you very well, but it's not going to be yours, mate, because someone's going to win it this week.
I know, and I promise I'll wash it. I promise I'll wash it. I don't get too sweaty in the show, but I will wash it for someone. One thing I did want to say before we leave the show this week, a lot of people follow our insights page, not so many on the prompts page. And I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to the guys at the prompts page because, you know, we have the AI that runs it. It runs over 1,000 prompts a week across all of the leagues that we cover. And this week, the way that our system works, it's rustled up a nice little percentage profit of 14%, which was a total profit of £340 if you'd have bet £2 on every single prompt. Now, I appreciate that's over 1,000. Are you going to do that? Probably not. But what it does mean is that those people that follow our insights and watch the show, follow the prompts, start to look and pick out those prompts that you like. Because last night at 2-1 Real Madrid, our prompt said that the bet was -1.5 Madrid. They went on to win 3-1. Then at 3-1, our prompts page generated that would be the last goal of the game, which at 46 minutes, probably not that likely. But actually, looking through Real Madrid's recent form, that was the prompt that came out based on statistics and facts, which is obviously what we deal with here. So amazing stuff from our service on the prompts page. Get following, and there's more profit to be had. And we need to bash the bookies.
Well said. seems a fitting way to round it off this week. Thank you very much as always, mate. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
I know people will know this. It's Grand National Week, so it's very busy for me, as everyone knows. So we got through that in record time, I think. But look, it was concise, it was interesting, it was spot on. Thank you very much, Dean. As Dean says, get following, get liking the BIR Insights and BIR Prompts page. Like, retweet the kit room for your chance to win Dean's kit from wherever it may be from. And
exactly.
And yeah, we'll see you next week on the Better Right Show. Thanks for listening or watching, and be lucky with all your bets over the course of the next few days.